It's another fine, soft day. And today, we're going to pull off this Edelbrock. And we are going to do things that people speak about in theory and tell you about. And I am hopefully going to show you. I'm also dealing with this. I just checked the gauge. It seems to be okay. I don't believe that you can do this properly without one of these, without an air-fuel mixture gauge. That's what makes that car run like a top. Okay, so don't be afraid of this little book, and make sure you know what you've got. Mine is a 1406. Understand the theory, the metering rods, and when they work. So when you're at idle with all your feet off the pedals, other than your brake pedal, hopefully, unless you're in park, this should be pulled down. We'll go into that in a minute. It shouldn't be bouncing. There's a matter of spring load, and I'm going to measure the vacuum, manifold vacuum here very soon. Let's see, the meter port is a different thing. I'm not going to go into too many aspects here, but I'm going to tell you something. This book really doesn't have a lot to cover, simply because this thing's simple. I would also tell you that this isn't a one and done, buy it and you're through kind of a thing. It can be for a long time, but this is not the same motor it was when I got this car. This is rebuilt. Vacuum values have got to be different. Everything's been done. I'm not going to worry about checking the compression or anything like that in it, but I would imagine this is pulling far more vacuum than it was on any number of levels, through the valves or whatever. So if you rebuild a motor, you got to have to retune your carburetor, is what it comes down to. So we're going to be pulling this carburetor off. It doesn't take that long at all. And I'm probably going to pull the spacer plate off too, and make those bolts a little bit more permanent. These right here, I'll go into those in a minute. When I'm sort of spinning on me, you don't want that. They're kind of hard to get to. So let's see about this thing. If you turn your ignition on and your hot wire going to your choke is just lying about like that, you could get a dead short. Keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about unplugging that, because that just grounds to the carburetor. I'll tell you another little trick too. Run an earthing wire to your carburetor. This block is earthed at the block. The head on the other side is just earthed everywhere. And there's an earth strap right there going to the mounting plate. And of course the alternator has its own individual earth, or ground, you can, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to dig into this carburetor. I believe it to be running a little rich. On the break-in little segments that I've done, it seems to be doing okay. I pulled a plug with not near enough time on it, but that doesn't really matter. I'm probably going to change my sight down there where the air-fuel mixture is on the other side of the... Did you die on me? Look at you. The other side of the oil filter right there on the exhaust pipe. I'm going to change that. You got to read your directions. It should be 18 inches or so. I'm probably going to move it back a little bit, and probably to the other side. I don't know that quite yet. I might just put it on back there some. Don't know. Depends on where I got the most room. Usually the driver's side has a lot less room. So we still got to flush it out. We've got a lot to do. I'm actually doing some work on the dash today, and I'm going to try to get all that cleaned up under there and make that look neat again. I've got to put these away. That's on my knobs, some of them, for my British car stuff. So let's put these away, and the bin marked as knobs. So back to this, the point of this was a lot of these pages just don't apply to you. See, I got a 1406, so that page don't matter. Don't get confused on these page things. So you got 4 or 5 pages. Don't even apply to you. So this is mine. I don't think there's a drastic amount of difference, but there, go to the one you got. And I happen to be that one. Be sure and have your lewd lamp ready. And this is not for you to be lewd. It is for you to look at things magnified. Where's my kit? Let me go get my kit and I'll show you what I mean. But anyway, let's finish this up, and then see all this stuff here you're not going to use either. Those other carburetors. And then you've only got a couple, 1 or 2 pages to learn about. So I want to have quick reference to your parts breakdown. I wouldn't do too much disassembly of the carburetor on the car. Loosen up your bolts. We'll go over that if I think about it. Loosen up your bolts while it's on the car, because you got the whole car as a weight, You got 4,000 something pounds to use as a counterweight. I'd like to do something a little different about that nasty EGR plug right there. Don't make me get into the EGR plug thing again, okay? Just trust me, just don't do that, okay? Something else to think about is that number 1 is your stock calibration. So if you don't do anything else with a previously owned Edelbrock, or even your own, you might have messed with it yourself, make sure you're at least using the stock pieces. And this lewd lamp, as you can tell, maybe you can't tell, but you can see the numbers. That's a 394, and I pair everything up. And I've only got several. I got 3 other sets of metering rods, and so I don't know, what I'm going to need. But I am going to check to make sure that if nothing else, it's stock. So what you do here is you very, very carefully do not drop anything in your carburetor. You take these little wings off right here and move them back and tighten. And you want to watch these metering valves. Make sure they suck down. Those feel kind of tight. So if they don't pull down immediately when you crank the engine, and when you throttle the engine, they ought to pop back up again, because that's the way it meters fuel into the thing. So here's that stuff down there. So I've got my vacuum gauge hooked up as directly and tightly as I can to manifold pressure. I've got my water lines back in. I've got that plugged. I'm not going to worry about the back hose quite yet. So the choke looks like it's set pretty good. You want to, if you're a race car, you want to use the upper one here. I'm using the middle one. I'm probably going to kick down to the lower one for my accelerator pump adjustment. And let's get some water in her and crank her up, okay? We are marking stuff off the list. So I got to measure mercury, O2 to direct. Okay, I did that. Disconnect. I did check my gauge. I need to calibrate that thing. Worry about that when I get under there. I need some CATV ends. I need. Okay, calibrate. Okay, bosh out. So I have everything laid out here. I've already got my little covers off. I got water. The endless abyss of the GM cooling systems of the 1960s. 74 gallons or whatever it is. So I'm ready to look at these, and that just doesn't look right to start with. Batman, da-da-da-da-da. That one's a little higher. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just look in here, and let's just see what we've got. I've got a, well, let me get a tool and get them out. Let's look at them, see if they're right at all. Now, I bought this carburetor new, so everything should be right, but who knows? It just doesn't look right. One's got a couple of extra coils. You know, my memory's coming back to me about this. This was a good decade or more ago. But when I got this Edelbrock, I remember Mitch said that it had been out and come back, and that has just proven itself to be true. Because I was going to show you this too. If you can't see your little numbers right there, and you go here and you can't see them, all you got to do is take your marker and sort of mark across them and then rub it, and they'll stand out for you. Get your dark marker there. I think that's dark blue, but it don't matter what it is. And you can tell that says 7037. Maybe you can tell that. Maybe you can't. Trust me, it says 7037. Okay? 7037. These are what you call clear springs. There's different color codes for that. So if you go to your specifications, all models, 1406, 600 cubic feet per minute, main jet's a 98. Don't know if that's true yet. And that's the original one is a 7547, not a 7047. It is supposed to have yellow springs, not the clear ones. The clear ones are rather, how can we say, a little too stiff. And the yellow ones are a little bit more forgiving. Don't go by that. We'll look up the springs in a second. So it's supposed to have yellow springs. It's not supposed to have those rods in them. I did buy it new, but I do remember him saying that, and I didn't give it much thought. And I think she's running okay, although I do think she's rich, and now I know why. The jets are too thin. So the stock is a 1459, or so you can be either way. It can be marked 7037 or 1459. Let's see if I have a 1459. Let's just get the tripod here. That's what we got it for. Okay, so we've got everything going. So we're looking for a 1459 or a 7547. There's a 7547 right there. Well, let's look at the differences. They are rather dramatic, aren't they? I mean, you can tell that this one's far thinner, so that's letting too much gas in it. And if you don't know what these are for, everything's coming out but that thing. Everything's falling out of the box except what I want. These funky little springs here, they're the ones that hold your jets onto your plunger right there. See, that's all that thing does. So don't lose those. I mean, they have their place. So, what to do with the 1487? Back there. So these are the wrong jets. I mean, rods by a pretty fair margin in the world of carburation. So let's at least, I know it's running rich. I've seen the plugs. So let's just, if I have those two jets there, it's probably an indicator. So let's go back to the 1459s and make sure that's what that reads for me, or 7547. Now, I'll show you this, see how you can't really see that too good. But like if you just rub it with your Sharpie and then just rub your thumb over it, it stands out. See? No, you can't see that, but believe me, it does. 4547, 4547, 7037. Whoa, that's a big difference in this world. Okay, let's change these over and put the fan on, for Lord's sakes. I've been working my way up here, and I have come to learn that the yellow is just not going to do. They don't even pop up when you throttle up. I'll show you that when I get to it. Now, I've got the pink ones in there, and let's get those out. And they'll pop up there a little bit in the beginning, but not quite as much as you would probably want them to. So don't do this unless you're sure you're not going to drop it in there. So she does seem to be smoother at idle. So there's pink at 7. There's plain. How can that be? I guess it's thicker. I wish I had a way to measure that. Uh-oh, I hear thunder out there. Well, let's get those out of there. And this is This is what separates us from just dudes that buy these things and just put them in there. Now make sure you're very secure with these things. I guess there's a device in the world that can measure the strength of these things. Now like I say, they popped up a little bit when I throttled it. Okay, we're going to try these and see if they pop up easier. Don't put those away till you're sure. Don't let that happen to you right there. So this is the way you do it. Got to keep those as clean as you can. And that goes right there. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. Now my air fuel gauge is showing that I don't have enough fuel. I don't know, I guess that feels pretty good. Now when you're doing this too, you got to keep an eye on these things, because those little shields that go in there, they do keep this lined up in the carburetor, and they will get off to one side on you. Look at that dirtiness. We'll drain them in a minute. Will we go to Troutman today? I don't know. I don't think so. Today's just Wednesday. Oh, see? It can happen to the best of us. I started thinking about something else. Okay, so you see they'll kind of stick on choke fully open. I got my tachometer set up there. I think she's making a belt noise at some point. She screeches at me. And it doesn't really sound like belt noise, but it kind of does. So let's crank her up and I'll show you what's going on here. I didn't want to show you till I got closer to what I thought was best. Fuel pump engaged. We'll crank her up. See, that ain't so bad, is it? We'll put the fan on. Now these things should be glued down, and they are. Don't get your camera straps caught. See, now they're pulled down. When I throttle up, they ought to pop up. See? Just like that. And that one's froze on me. Woo! Well, hard to do. You saw them pop up, and that's more or less what you're going for there. Wow! As you can tell, this can be a problem. There you go. Locks down hard. I got about 12 inches of mercury on vacuum. See them? Now you got to see that. I'm starting to have more faith in the idling system. Now I have been adjusting the idle a little bit. I need to look at my temperature here. For God's sakes. Don't let that happen to you there. So we've got about 800... Oh. Sorry about that, kids. Don't let that get caught in the belt or anything, but I think there's about 2 million videos on how to do this. I'm not going to show you that. Well, the good part is it has jets down in it. I just took that one out. But the floats aren't level. The floats are not even. And that's what you want with floats. You want them to be somewhat even with your 7/16 spacer. It says so right there. And then it tells you, I don't know where the page, there it is. So right about here, that one's a little low. I think this is going to be the one that's more correct. Well, neither one of them really. They both could use a little tweaking. That one's too low. The accelerator pump looks good. Let's check our jets here and see what's going on now. Some unburnt hydrocarbons floating around here, aren't there? well, that's going to happen, you know. So, all right. Well, let's see what we got jet-wise over here. Getting a big storm feeling coming up here. Okay, I got all this out of here, and that don't look great, does it? A little rusty, musty. Now's the time to get your clean. Let me close the windows and doors before I get blown away. 5 o'clock and dark like it's 8 o'clock out there. So this is your chance to clean out stuff. Oop. So take everything apart. Now you can tell by the discoloration. I'm surprised by this actually. I guess it sat too long. Go ahead and take these adjusters out. And you're going to check the ends of them. Do not ever over tighten those. Ooh. Well, I guess I did the right thing taking them out. So you're going to blow brake clean through here and all through your... I just lost the music. And this will foul you up if you're not careful. Well, you know what? I got an ultrasonic cleaner, but I think that's probably going a little too far here. Yeah, I can just hand clean those. Those don't have a front or a back. So you want to get your brake clean. Just spray all down your things there, but put your safety glasses on. Okay, well that blows out whatever varnish could be in there. And then I'm actually surprised by how much dirt I'm seeing here. So let's go in through this way, and we'll just kind of dust that off there a little bit. Boom, big thunder boomer out there. Oop. Sometimes you'll find, so don't want to take those out and clean them. I really just think this is going to be okay. Look at all those. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll take it to the ultrasonic, put all the little parts in a jar and let them sort of vibrate around. I think the answer to that is yes. I hate to do it, but let's see what we got out of the bottom. Yeah, I see the dirt. I'm very surprised by this. I worked hard to keep this thing clean. So if you turn it around this way, this is the little ones are the always, not always, but these are the front ones. Now you see there's other little, might be better off pointing out here. You see those little metering slots here? Let's see if I can show you a little better. Those long vertical slots. Spray through all 3 of those holes on each side, and I don't think I should have any problems with spindles being worn out. This is not a quadra-junk, as I've heard them call. So you do want to check your spindles. Am I going to spend $3,000 on EFI? Don't think so. Okay. Yeah, that just feels kind of junky. Wow, it's getting brutal out there. All right, well, let's just spray through them things. And this was what I meant by cleaning the whole circuit. All right, let's take these apart. Ugh, it's getting worse and worse. Well, let's see what those are. You might be good to clean your tool off at this point. Might want to wipe your hands off at this point. You know, that feels okay. A lot of tool drag. The cobalt. Okay, let's get these off. Now, look at your numbers. That is a 7102, and that's a 7101. So what I would do here, I don't think I need to clean these things. So we're going to put our, so the 7101 goes here. So that's the 1 and that's the 2. Okay. So let's take those off because these little ports here could be plugged. And we don't want anything plugged here. Well, kind of surprised and disappointed in myself. See, that's a, well, let's take a look at the jets. I don't know if somebody's out there or if that's just the wind. Boy, it's cooled off dramatically. That's for sure. Try to get your screwdriver to fit these best you can. Whew. Big dump truck pulled up a minute ago with a bunch of gravel, but wasn't for me. I said, I'll take it if it's free. Okay, so that is a mess. Whew. I don't know. I better go tend to things. I'm not going to run these through the ultrasonic, but there's 2 holes that you can now see through. This one was clogged, and it shot on the ground, but let the air spill there is on the dusty ground. But I think you might just be okay blowing that out with brake clean. But that was completely clogged. Let's look at the other one. Well, let me tell you about these babies. There's the gasket down in there. That's where you need to run some air. It should come out through this port. This has the old plug action in it. This has every opportunity to clog up in any number of ways. So just make sure that you get the cleaner to bubble out of everything. So, what a mess. That's what it's like in here when it rains hard like this. I was thinking earlier we needed some rain. Oh, that smell. It's sort of a bacteria of some kind, they say. Whew. Let's see here. It says it's 82. Let's see how fast that goes down. Just 80. 78. Yeah, it dropped 6-8 degrees there. Imagine the humidity's up though. Okay, well I got to get back to work. I got the other jet thing blown out. Can't hardly talk to you, all this noise. Leave everything open just a little bit, keep some fresh air going, get the hot air out. So I got both of these cleaned, and it's obvious to see why they're different numbers because these things are different places. Let's take this off. It's a 19, whatever that means. Okay, so when you take this little jet out of here to clean, don't turn it upside down because down in there is a little spacer and a ball. So you guys will just put your little ball back in. Oh, let's put some brake clean through it. And it doesn't look too bad in there, but you know. Look at that, it bubbled up and then it didn't. I wonder where that comes out. Well, I don't know if it does. Well, let's do it. There's the ball and the thing. Let's do it like this and see if we can sort out where it's coming from, where it goes to. Let's make sure it's coming out of somewhere. Oh, it comes out at the, yeah, there you go. That's what, wonder why it's not coming out over there. Okay, so that goes to your metering jet here. So if I spray in here, oh no, what's that coming out over here? Oh, that's the accelerator pump. Okay, I got a little dirt coming out of that. That's the accelerator pump. Alright, so let's get it back front ways to Sunday there. So you put your little ball back in there. You put your little spacer back in there. I don't think it's cupped. You can tell where it was riding on the ball. So then that goes in there. And then you spray this out and put it back. We'll spray it that way. Oops. Yeah, I've seen these work, so I'm not too scared of that thing. That thing gets nailed with gasoline all the time because it every time you even tap the accelerator, you're flushing that out. Don't hurt to clean it though. Got a little bit of stuff out of it. Got that lead plug down in the body. You know, I'm going to pull these secondaries out too. Let's take a, well, down in there looks real clean. I can tell that without even any light. Well, maybe the big thunderstorm has passed. Well, let's pull these off just in case. In case I got to give her the beans. Might as well make sure the beans are clean. I just got that clunk of mess out of the secondary. Whoa, it's like right over my dang head. Do the same thing here, just blow all this out. That gasket came out in total. So, okay, just blow everything out. Just clean it all. Look, it's like one of my hairs. A hairy carburetor. That'll happen around my house. Floats are level now and adjusted. 7/16 drill bit. Everything here is clean. The jets are back in. The secondaries are 0.095. Those are 0.098. The mains. I've got the rods sorted out. 17. I've already done this. 75/47. Yeah. So that ought to be right. And these are the most powerful springs that I have. I have a feeling they're working so well because the engine's so well sealed. You know, I hope there's no air leaks. I don't think there are any. So let's get this back together, put it together here on the bench. Then I got to take it up and drain it. Oh boy. Okay, don't forget your baffle plates. These little things right here. Sorry about the rain. It's been raining for a very long time. We'll go see how much here in a while. You got to get these baffle plates out to get to that jet, but just make sure you put them in with the pointy things down and they're clean and everything. And then you don't put anything on that and just sort of look at it. Looks okay. I've seen it shooting. They're supposed to be like an inch of travel. Okay, inch of travel. Look at the gasket. Everything looks okay. Now the bowl for the accelerator pump is a little bit tapered, so that slipped on real nice. And so your spring goes there. Okay. Spring goes there. Wow. Sometimes you just do it wrong. I'm distracted by all the rain. I'll be cutting grass here pretty soon, that's for dog sure. And just make sure they travel evenly. If they don't, now's the time to know it. That one don't seem to be real happy in its place. There we go. Okay, that's the stiffest spring I got, which means that's going to, boy, that was just real sticky. So now you put these on. Now just make sure. So what I would do here, I tighten that down a little bit. But don't tighten it down until you know it's in its happy spot. And then you can hold it down and it won't pop up and give you a hassle. Just double check that. You force that down, you're going to be sorry. That's going to be the end of your carburetor. I need both hands, but that, you get my meaning. Get your plate on there, push those down with your fingers, and then slide that plate around. I believe that's one of the reasons they generally tell you not to take these out. But we got to sometimes. Well, that one there is just a little bit persnickety. I got to work on that. I'll get them down. Okay, she's back on and warming up. Sounds better. She's good and hot. Adjusted the idle. Only do that when it's warm. It's pretty warm. It's right there at 180, 170, maybe less. But I believe the accelerator pump probably needs to go back to the middle position because it just seems to have a little lag. And she didn't have that before, but she's smoother, and that's what matters to me. So it's this adjustment here. So I'm going to go up one notch on that. Vacuum seems to be holding more steady too. So there might have been some other causational problems. I'm sort of still torn about the vacuum advance thing. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But let's move that back up. And I tell you what, we're going to call it a day. Just go at it easy. Take good care of every little thing you're doing. Pay attention. Take pictures and everything else. So give me a thumbs up and hit the like button and subscribe. And be careful out there. And sun's coming back out after all that rain. It's a little uncomfy out here. I think it's about time, 6:15. I think it's about time for something else. Subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye. It's not bone us, it's bone me. Is this car related to this car? Guess not. See that stain right there? That's transmission fluid. Little bonus extra here, and it's coming out of the speedometer cable. Now if you're going to have a leak, there's your spot. So my guess is I'll have to take all that out and see if there's O-rings in there that are allowing that to pass by, but that's not what I'm going to do right now. I am going to wonder what that is. You know what I thought that was? I thought that was the front of the air conditioner compressor that fell out or something. All it is one of my little jack pads. But don't it look like that though? I went, oh no! But I didn't really care if I had air conditioning or not, but I don't want parts falling out of it. It's just nothing but goes on this little jack right here. Oh. Anyway, we'll address that later. I guess I need to get some shrink tube or something after I see if the O-rings are leaking. Well, I tell you, I'll take that. I mean, if that's all I got going, let's see if I can get some second-degree burns and draining the thing. Okay, that's it, I promise. Just saw that little drop there. And that's just at idle. I don't know. The Spitfire did the same thing. I got it to stop, but only by taking the speedometer cable out and just plugging it. That car has no speedometer. But who cares? Got plenty of stickers.